Well, good evening, everyone. Good evening. This is Lady Victoria here with Victoria School of Etiquette, and I am coming on tonight with my bedtime chronicles. Haven't done it in several weeks. Oh my gosh, the last 6 weeks or so has been very busy. It's been interesting. I've been traveling, I've been working hard. I've graduated from my business entrepreneurship class, and so it's been a little bit intense. But anyway, my bedtime chronicles, three things that I have learned along the way, at the end of the day, at the end of the week, over a period of time that I would just like to share with you. And so, since it's been a little bit of time, let me just kind of update you a little bit. So, like I said, I've been traveling, right? I've been in California. I attended my son and daughter in law's fifth wedding vow renewal ceremony in California. It was absolutely beautiful. Everything that they put together was done magnificently. And on an etiquette note, I can say that they were definitely up to par on everything that they did. But being an etiquette consultant, I notice everything oftentimes wherever I am going. And so there were some things that I noticed in the dining venue that I would have done differently. But this is um, nothing against my son and daughter. This was not their doing, but this was just things that I noticed with the dining crew and the setup that, like I said, I would have done differently. But it was not my place to say so. And even had I been the hostess, now that would have been a completely different thing. But if you are in a dining situation and you are the host or the hostess, or even if you are a guest there, did you know that in the etiquette world, it is considered poor manners to correct someone who is practicing improper etiquette in the moment? It is considered impolite to say to a person that you're slurping your soup. Maybe you shouldn't do that. Or you passed the food in the wrong direction. You didn't send the right signal to your waiter to let them know what you were doing with your meal. Things like that. Or for a person that picks up the wrong utensil to go along with that um, serving of food that's being served to them with that course. I'm sorry, with that course of food that's being served with them at that time. It's considered impolite to correct them in the moment. And so I know that that might seem like it's contradictory according to etiquette, but actually it is not. If you are the host, it is especially considered impolite for you to correct your guest in the moment. Now, later, you may have the opportunity to say something. If the opportunity naturally presents itself, then you can be gracious and bring up something to them that may have been done incorrectly. There are other ways to bring it to a person's attention. Especially like I said, in a personal dining situation, you having a personal dinner party, whether it be at a restaurant, whether it be at a club, whether it be in your home. Now, I've known or heard about some hosts or hostesses, if they see that their guest is doing something that is out of order, like say that they are eating their salad with their dinner fork, then they may also pick up their dinner fork and begin to eat with a dinner fork, eating the salad instead of embarrassing their guests. And those others of you that are attending the event, you catch on and then you follow suit. That's one way to always be in correct form, even when it's incorrect. To be in correct form is to follow the hostess, follow the host or the hostess, and whatever they do, that's what you imitate.
New message is received from Corvandia Russell.
Sorry about that. Um, So that's one way to handle that. But in a public setting, no, you don't correct that person in the moment. It is considered rude and impolite. So if you are also in a public setting, at a really nice restaurant, a 4-star, 5-star restaurant, you may have a waiter or someone on the wait staff that may kind of give a signal to a person in an attempt to keep the host or the hostess or the entire party from being embarrassed. They may give a signal, a slight nod of the head, or just a little quirk of the eyebrow. They may point, they may give some kind of signal to the person that really isn't up to par, to just let them know, no, not that fork, but this one. And so in an instance like that, just let them handle it. You don't need to intercede. You don't need to interrupt in any way whatsoever. It's definitely all good. So that is one thing that I noticed, and I said that I would speak about that on my next Facebook. So here I am speaking about it. And so when you're traveling, this is another thing that I'm always aware of when you're traveling. Travel etiquette, oh my gosh, should be practiced to your highest form. When you're traveling, always remember that you are not traveling alone, even when you are traveling alone, unless you are solo driving yourself somewhere, or unless you're piloting your own plane. When you travel, you're not traveling alone. So there are your other travel mates to consider. There are families traveling with young children. It is unavoidable. Let's please get rid of the notion that they will not be on your plane, and that you hope that they won't cry, and that you hope that they won't act out. We do hope those things, but it is just, a way of life. Children are children, babies are babies. They may be uncomfortable when they're flying, the air pressure, it gets to our ears. So imagine what that may feel like for a 6-month-old baby who can't express it, or even for a 2-year-old who can't really express it. So let's be considerate, let's be compassionate, and let's be aware that oftentimes the parents are even more embarrassed than you are when their children begin to act out, or when their children begin to cry or yell, or whatever the situation is. As a passenger on the plane, just try to be, like I said, compassionate and considerate, and remember what it was like when you were traveling and your children were small. You don't have children, you didn't travel with your children when they were that young. Please, let's just be compassionate anyway. It's the nice thing to do. Getting grumpy about it and complaining about it isn't going to change the situation. The plane is not going to land to get rid of an unruly child, or a child that's discomforted, or what have you. The flight will be over soon. So it's one of those things that we have to learn to endure with patience. Endure with patience. No need to go talking to the airline, and no need to make faces at the parents, because like I said, oftentimes they are just as embarrassed or more embarrassed than you are, that they are in a small space and they're having to deal with this as well. So travel etiquette, like I said, is something that we should practice to the utmost of our abilities. And before you travel, just take a moment and read up on travel etiquette, airplane etiquette. There are some things that you should not eat on the airplane if you are bringing your own food. Liverwurst, onions, garlic, things like that that might be offensive to the person that you are sitting next to. And oftentimes we can bring food, our own food, on the plane. So just be considerate of what you bring and what you are consuming on the plane next to the person that's sitting next to you, or across from you, in front of you, or behind you. Another thing on the airplane, we all have to use the facilities. And so just be mindful that when you are using the facilities, someone was in there likely before you, and someone will likely be in there after you. There are things that you can do to contain yourself. If you know that when you eat certain foods that it is going to have an adverse effect on your body, on your person. So please don't consume those food items before traveling. especially if you're going to be on a really, really long flight and you know that it is going to adversely affect you and you will have to use the facilities, and then you don't want the entire plane to know what's going on with you in that season. So those are some things to be mindful of when you're carrying your luggage. You have a carry-on that you can take with you. Sometimes for us ladies, and not just ladies, sometimes for any gender, please don't overpack your carry-on bag. And so when you have to lift it up over your head to put it in the overhead bin, it's a struggle and a strain for you, and sometimes you might lose your footing. Sometimes you might swing it upward, and it's a little too much effort or not quite enough. You don't want to bang the head, the shoulders, the arm, the back of anyone else that might be standing in the aisle along with you, waiting to put their luggage overhead. And then it's the same thing in reverse when you are trying to take it down. Should you find yourself in that situation, then perhaps try to be one of the first that are going to board. I know on Southwest Airlines, we get to bring our luggage really for free. But your overhead, no matter which airline that you're traveling with, your overhead luggage has to be a certain size to fit into the compartment, but we don't want to overpack it until it's a struggle to get it up and a struggle to get it down. You don't want to be the party that could perhaps injure someone else in your motion and in your movement. So those are just a couple of the things that I wanted to talk about as far as travel etiquette is concerned, and a couple of the things that I observe when I am traveling. Always wear comfortable clothing, of course, and you know that you're going to have to go through the security checks. So wear socks, even if it's summer, or bring footies if you don't like walking on the barefoot floor, which I do not. We always want to look our best when we're traveling, and we always want to be, of course, in vogue and what have you. But because you know that you have to go through those security checks, like the earrings that I am wearing now, I probably wouldn't wear these on the plane because they may set off the alarm system, and then you have to get the pat down and the shake down and all of that. You don't want to wear, ladies, you don't want to wear big bulky jewelry, bracelets or necklace. You don't really want to wear the bangle bracelets. It's going to be halfway up your arm because oftentimes those do set the devices off, and so then you have to remove them. You have to go through the pat down and all of that. Even ladies, how we wear our hair, if we have decorative combs or what have you in our hair, sometimes those things can set off the alarm. So those are just a few of the travel tips, things that I observed on my latest travel ventures, the big clunky necklaces and all of that. Wear shoes that are easy to get on and get off. I traveled, this was early spring, but any season, any time of the year, we have various footwear, foot gear that is really cute. It's elaborate sometimes, so wearing the boots that lace all the way up to the knee, and you have to take those off when you're coming through the security checkpoint. So things like that you want to be mindful of. So again, just some of the things that I noticed and observed when I was traveling this time. Be kind to seniors. Be kind to seniors. Be kind to seniors. Be kind to disabled persons that are traveling. They need a little extra time to get in the lane, to get out of the lane. And we're not in such a rush and in such a hurry until we can just brush past them to get our place in line. We really aren't going to miss anything by waiting just a few moments or being courteous and allowing them sometimes to go ahead of you. Alcohol on the plane. If you're going to drink alcoholic drinks on the airplane, don't overindulge. You're how many thousands of feet up in the air, and there is nothing more disheartening than having someone on the plane that had just a wee little bit too much. And it shows. And it shows. So, all in all, be courteous when traveling. Be considerate of others that are traveling along with you because, as I said, you are never traveling alone, even when you are traveling alone. So, I just wanted to share those items with you this time on Bedtime Chronicles. It's been a really fun filled past 6 weeks or so. So many of you know that I graduated, like I said, from my business entrepreneurship program, and I thank you so much for your love and support. So many of you that applauded me and congratulated me and encouraged me, and I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so very much. I did my very best to answer each and every response, and I really hope that I did not leave anyone out. But if I did, please, 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 please just count it to my head and not to my heart, because you took time out to say thank you. You took time out to say congratulations. You took time out to applaud me, to support me, and give me your congratulatory wishes, and I greatly appreciate it. And so I want to be able to give back to those that took the time out just to say congratulations. I thank you so very much. So this is Lady Victoria with Victoria School of Etiquette Training and Consulting. I'm coming to you tonight with my Bedtime Chronicles, things that I have learned at the end of the day, at the end of the week, over the last several weeks, and I just wanted to share it with you. So I bid you all a very good night, and I will see you the next time. So thank you very much, and bye for now.